So you know that you need to create posts for social media. And you know that you're meant to do a mix of value-based content and promotional posts, right? But do you ever struggle with what to write in those promo posts to actually get people to want what you've got to offer? In today's video, I'm going to share my social media copywriting tips to help you sell your offer. These are the exact tips that my client Sarah used to book 12 discovery calls off a single Facebook post. And these tips are perfect for you if you're a coach, a consultant, or if you're on some kind of online service-based business. So if you want to get the right people snapping up your offer like hotcakes, then keep on watching. And for tips on how to describe what you do in juicy and compelling language that gets the right people to sit up and pay attention, make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I upload a new video every single week. If you're promoting your business on platforms like Facebook or Instagram, you've got to remember that your posts are going to be appearing in the newsfeed. And how do we normally consume our newsfeed? Well, usually we are just mindlessly scrolling through like zombies, waiting for something to grab our attention. And don't forget that in the newsfeed, you're competing against funny cat videos and memes about Donald Trump. So if you want to actually grab their attention, you need to open your post with something that they actually give a shit about. And without sounding harsh, if this is a cold audience who don't yet know, like, or trust you, then unfortunately, they don't give a shit about you and your offer, and they certainly don't give a shit about your methodology. So if you open your post with something like, I'm really passionate about helping people via NLP. I mean, great. Good for you! But who really cares? What's that got to do with me? And so when we're fighting against that scroll, the person who doesn't really care is going to keep on scrolling. So you've got to do what it takes to actually stop that scroll. And the way that you do that is by talking about something that they actually care about. And what do most people care about? Their problems. So you need to open your post by speaking to the problems that your ideal client are currently experiencing that your service is the solution for. So that means you've really got to put some thought into who you're trying to attract and how this particular problem actually shows up for them. And I want to give you a quick little example here. Let's say that your service really helps mums who are struggling with excess weight. But can we stop for a second and just think about how broad that category is? It could be the mum of a newborn. It could be the mum of school-aged children. It could be the mum who's an empty nester and their kids have finally gone off to college. And depending where this person is along that journey, the way that they experience that challenge of excess weight is going to vary. So if you really want to grab people's attention, the best thing that you can do is get a really solid understanding of where they're at along that journey and therefore exactly how they would be experiencing that challenge. So let's start to think about this. Who are your ideal clients? And what is that number one challenge that they're currently experiencing that your services can help them with? Why don't you comment below and let us know? Because who knows, maybe your ideal clients are watching this video right now and when they see your comment, they'll say, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. So if you want to open your post by speaking to the problem that that person is experiencing, you can do that in one of three ways. The first is to use direct questions. Are you the type of person who ... Have you ever struggled with ... Have you been trying to ... These are all just direct questions that you can use to ask that person, hey, does this sound like you? The second option that you can try is to use assumptions. And using this approach, instead of asking, hey, does this sound like you? We just assume. So you could say something like, you've downloaded a ton of webinars and you still have no idea what you're doing in your business. That's an assumption, right? But it will still speak to the exact problem that my potential clients might be experiencing. The third option that you can use is one of my favorites, and that is using story. So I can connect my potential client with their current problem by using story. And maybe that's my own story, something that I've experienced in my life. Maybe it's a challenge that one of my clients has gone through. Or it could just simply be a story where you get that person to imagine themselves in that scenario. The beautiful thing about using stories is that when somebody is telling us a story, our brain does this beautiful thing where it just places us as the central character in that story. You know, a friend will be telling you about this crazy thing that happened at the supermarket, and your brain is imagining yourself in that position and how you would react and how you would feel. So story is a fantastic way to really connect people with exactly what you want them to think and feel. So we open our post by speaking to the current problem that your potential clients are experiencing, but we don't want to leave them there. We don't want to use that kind of jerk marketing style that basically makes people feel crap about themselves. You know, the kind where we just dig into the pain points and like twist the knife until you feel so horrible that you just have to buy our services? I don't know about you, but that's not really the kind of marketing I like to do. So once we've connected with that challenge or that struggle they're facing, that's where step number 2 comes in, and that's where we want to really speak to their desires. And here we're going to paint a little bit of a picture about what they want instead. We're going to imagine putting a little magic wand wand into our ideal client's hand, and if they were to wave it, what would they wish for? What do they want their life to look like once they have this problem resolved? Now, the real key here, and this applies whether you're talking to the problems or to their desires, is you've got to be really specific. Have you ever noticed that so many marketing posts end up sounding exactly the same? That's often because so many people just sit at that surface level. When they're talking to challenges or problems, they'll say things like, do you ever feel stuck? Do you get frustrated? Do you feel exhausted? And it's like, yeah, that's a pain, that's a challenge, but it's very surface level. And the same thing with desires. They'll say, do you want to feel better? Do you want to have more energy? And yes, you're talking to a problem. Yes, you're speaking to a desire, but are you really hitting me in the guts? Are you really getting me to emotionally connect with your words? Not really. So the way that you do that is you actually start to bury down deeper below those surface level things. Instead of just saying, do you want to have more energy? We want to talk about what that energy will allow them to do. Maybe it's going to allow this person to have enough energy to run around after their kids. Maybe they're going to have enough energy to be able to go out on a Friday night and actually enjoy time with their friends instead of always canceling at the last minute because they're exhausted. Can you see how those more specific and tangible examples just allow you to connect with that desire much more closely? Because sure, having more energy would be great, but if I understand what that energy will allow me to do, and if I really want that outcome, now you've hooked me so much faster. So whether you're talking to the pain or whether you're talking to the pleasure, just give me some specific and tangible examples that I can say, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. And again, when you're talking to my desires, you can choose one of those 3 different approaches. You could use a direct question by saying, how would it feel to be able to ... Or you can make an assumption. When you finally get this resolved, you'll be able to ... Or again, you could use story. Your own experiences when you resolve that problem, what your clients have been able to achieve when they resolve this problem, or you could simply just get them to imagine what life will look like when this, and this happens. So we've spoken to their pain and we've spoken to their pleasure. Now you can start to talk about how your solution is the exact pathway that will take them from A to B. And that's where step 3 comes in, because now you need to introduce your offer. And I think sometimes people think that just by stating their offer, that will be enough to make people go, oh my God, here's all my money. But it doesn't really work like that. You need to make sure that you are describing the outcome and the benefit that your offer will give me in really juicy and benefit-laden language. Essentially, you just got to tell me why I should care. So I do see a lot of people in Facebook groups who do use that approach of speaking to pain and speaking to pleasure, but then when it gets to presenting their offer, they essentially go, so that's why you should join me for a free coaching call. And hey, awesome that it's free, but I still want to know what I'm actually going to get out of that call to warrant actually blocking that time off my calendar and turning up. So when you're presenting your offer, just make sure that you're letting that potential client know exactly what they're going to get. So the way I like to do this is I like to add 3 juicy bullet points that really get people amped up for this offer. To give you an example to kind of make this a little bit more tangible, when I first started my business, I really heavily promoted myself in Facebook groups. And what I wanted to do was get people on the phone and connect with potential ideal clients. So I was putting out an offer for what I called a 20-minute message makeover assessment, which was basically my way of getting people on the phone to talk about their messaging, where it could be going wrong, and what they might need to tweak to get it hitting the mark. So in my promo posts, I would speak to the challenges that they have when it comes to their messaging. I would speak to the frustration of putting out all this content and just hearing crickets. I would speak to their desires of how great would it be if you could just write a post and then immediately get 10 people saying, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. Then when it came time to present my actual offer of, hey, why don't you jump on the phone with me? I wanted to make sure that that offer sounded absolutely irresistible. So here are those 3 juicy bullet points that I added to make that call a no-brainer yes decision. On this call, I'm going to help you to discover why you might be seeing those tumbleweeds blow across the screen every time you make your offer. I'm going to help you to identify some simple tweaks that will turn your messaging from blah to brilliant. And I'm going to help you to create a plan that is going to get your message seen and heard by your perfect clients. Can you see how those juicy bullet points have just really amped up the desire for that offer? So overall, my post has engaged my potential audience because it's spoken to the challenge they're experiencing, it's spoken to the desire that they wish they could have instead, and here's why you should take my offer, because I'm going to give you these 3 amazing outcomes. But here's the thing I really want you to understand about this. My offer itself was an easy yes offer. Again, you've just got to remember where it is you're posting and what frame of mind I'm going to be in as I'm mindlessly scrolling through Facebook. Because when I'm in that zone, I'm not really in a position to be making a huge level commitment. So if you're going to present an offer that requires a higher level commitment than I can give to you when I'm in that zone, you need to take the conversation elsewhere. Maybe that's via a lead magnet. Maybe that's taking people to a webinar. Or maybe it's like what I did and getting people to connect with you over the phone. But you want your social media post to be presenting that easy yes offer. If I'm gonna have to think about this, if you need to convince me of something or educate me on something, then take the conversation to a more suitable environment to do that. But use the social media post to invite me to join that conversation. I know I've given you a ton of stuff to consider there, so I wanted to make it really easy for you. I've broken down my process for writing really compelling promotional posts, and I've made it into a little bit of a cheat sheet for you, which will tell you exactly what you should put into those promo posts and what you should leave out. So if you want to grab that cheat sheet, you can click on this card and I'll also put the link in the description below. If this video has been helpful, make sure to subscribe, share it with your friends, and hit that like button so that I know you want to see more videos just like this one. Now I'd really love to hear from you, so comment below and let me know what have been your biggest takeaways from this video and what tweaks you feel like you might need to make to your social media posts to get more people saying a big hell yes to your offer. And if you want tips on how to write really juicy and compelling messaging that gets the right people to sit up and pay attention, check out these videos here, or you can also hit right here to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm gonna share my secret. They're not secret. I'm sharing them with everybody. The section you can check on this. You can check on this. Before you make sure there's